This thing is always so weird. Hold on. Hello, y'all. Let me get this. That where? Excuse me. Excuse my hand. See the fuzz on my fingers. But welcome. Welcome, y'all. Another Friday, another live stream, another week of absolute chaos, insanity, stress, and beefs. Just everything coming out this week. But we are here. We have made it somehow through another week of living, doing our thing. And I am, let me make sure all that's working. I am Justin, the Zilla. Hello. We're back again, talking toys, yapping, clamoring, doing our thing, chilling as much as we can. Thank God, not working tomorrow. Finally have another weekend off. That means chill Friday night, chill toy time. But welcome. As always, I'm Justin the Zilla. Welcome to the stream. Be sure, like, comment what you want to see here on the channel. Subscribe. I would appreciate the support. But yeah, crazy kind of week. Work was very stressful. Internet stuff is very stressful of what's been going down, but we're pretty good. Got through it early of the week. Collab was still pretty good. I still got to post my behind the scenes reel. I forgot to do that on my last collab thing. Need to get there at some point, but you know, pretty fun, pretty cool. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Just making it through. We're trying to be chill, do our thing, just have fun. Kind of get past what's been going on in the world, because of course everything is everything feels like it's falling apart, but it's not really. So it's just like, where's my balance? But yeah, what am I thinking? I guess really, if we want to get updates of any toy stuff, no, I don't think there's really that much toy news. I know there's probably like some releases or some reveals that have been out there here and there. I haven't really been looking that much. Just been kind of concentrating on what I'm doing. But yeah, for updates, at least for what I got going on here, I do have a weekly pickup. So that's cool. And a couple of things to show off, and maybe a bonus thing we might be opening in a minute. But first, I do want to mention here on the wall, if y'all notice, for those who tune in, on the wall here, I have my Mirage kind of turtle stuff that's able to be hung up here. And so what happened was, I think it was it like Monday? It might have been like Tuesday or Wednesday. But that hook that holds this figure, it actually held the other foot enforcer, kind of like in that bluer shadowy tone. Yeah, so he was over there. The command hook finally gave way, and he was off the bed. He was off the whole week. I finally put the hook back up there, and I kind of redid the whole setup of what's going on here. So where I have the foot enforcer in that blue version, I can actually hold up. I'm gonna zoom in, but you can see, have that blue color foot enforcer there, have the standard color now, well, classic, I guess they call it. And then now I have the foot soldier, or the elite guard, as he's called there. And then have, who is it, Karai? Yeah, Karai Shredder, and then, of course, got Baxter. So, switched up the row. I think that this makes more sense. I think it looks better anyways. So, yeah. So, he fell. Technically, he did, but he was on this position, so it was this hook that gave way. But you know, just how it goes. Just how it goes sometimes. With here on the stream. And with, you know, having stuff on the wall, especially if you use command hooks. I mean, they're going to give way at some point. But they've been pretty decent. I'm mainly still worried about what's going to happen in this corner at some point, especially with this Spider-Man, because he's been there ever since the whole beginning. He was kind of like the start of putting stuff on the wall. Because I was like, well, I'm not going to open that because I have the Mafex. So it's like, all right, I bought him because I knew he'd be kind of hard to find. And I was just like, he looks cool. He looks good in packaging, so he stays right there. So I guess we'll see if he falls. And if he falls, he's probably taking these two with him. Hopefully not. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, so I guess I'll have to check him out at some point. But doing pretty good. I still need to add... Excuse me. I still need to add... Let me adjust my thing. I still need to add more stuff on this wall. Yeah, I feel like I say that every week, but one day we'll actually start adding more. And because, you know, there's plenty to pick from my pile of figures that I have in the corner of my room, so in due time. But first we'll show off the weekly pickups, and I will mention a few things I have on order. One thing I know that's coming in, I believe it's Monday. I'll have to check the tracking on it again, but I know it's not too far. But the thing I actually picked up at my local Walmart, because I was just looking at figures and I was like, I feel like spending. Today I picked up the G.I. Joe retro-carded Flint, who is a very nice update. Kind of I would say a needed version of Flint for a while. Very nice to finally get in hand. And of course, he's with the same wave as CoverGirl, so we'll definitely be doing a stream of those two at some point. And then we also have, I think this is the Televiper, I think they call him, this dude, and they have plenty of him. They have a couple of like a Cobra Troopers 2 and a few Cobra Commanders. I might get a few Cobra Commanders just to finally replace my one. That's all kind of messed up, but it looks fine. So I'm like, maybe I'll wait till clearance if they ever do it, because they just redid my whole Walmart. So where they're kind of getting back with the time. So all the toy stuff is actually just in the back of the store instead of on the side, like how it's been for years. So yeah, so it's kind of like so it's kind of a new setup, and I think hopefully they'll start bringing in more stuff. But it was cool to see new G.I. Joes as always. And finally nice to get Flint. I was like, yeah, if anything, I feel like I'm getting a fair price for it. I think it's for Flint with the more premium thing going here. But Flint looks good. Looks cool. It is kind of weird to me that they do the big yelling, screaming head, but he doesn't come with that. He just comes with the more stoic. But if that's accurate, I guess, to the original toy, I can't really complain too much, but pretty cool. Nice kind of pickup to finally get. And then something I opened this week, that I've been kind of like debating on opening. It's a figure and really a line that hasn't really been very active at all. But I opened up the, and I can't even remember her name now. And I feel bad because she's actually a good actress, but have the, what's her name? I think this is, this was in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the main female protagonist, who was like, I forget who she was like related to. She was like the granddaughter of like of one of Indiana Jones's like buddies, yeah, from the back of the day, yeah, from the flashback. And so, you know, it's a decent figure. It's fine. It's pretty standard. And I think the likeness is actually pretty good, so not too bad. So finally open up this. I've had this figure for a while. I've just been sitting on it to find a reason or just to be like, okay, I'll finally open this. And she looks pretty good. But I have been doing one thing because because I don't think she's gonna go on my Indiana shelf. Yeah, one, I don't really have that much space to really work with, and then two, I'm kind of like, when it comes to my good guys, even with my villains, I'm kind of set right now. Maybe until like I actually get the more of the what is it, yeah, the Last Crusade. Yeah, when I whenever I get the rest of that wave, I need to pick up that. Also need to get more of the yeah, the Temple of Doom. I need to finish that as well because I'm like halfway through. But yeah, but I did do a pretty actually simple head swap, and one that I think actually kind of helps improve this figure a bit is I swapped the stock head with the Marvel Legends Classic Wasp unmasked head. And I think that actually looks pretty good. I think she works pretty well for what this time period and kind of style is. And of course, like, I think she's more, yeah, I don't want to say pinup, but more kind of like more of like that classic kind of that era of more showgirl. Well, not really showgirl. I don't know. It's just a more, I guess, kind of like more makeup, kind of like design. I guess you could call it pinup. It's more of a exaggerated. It feels a little bit more comic booky in my eyes. And I think that she just looks good. I think it's a pretty good head swapped, in my opinion. I think it's kind of fun. So yeah. So she might stay like this for the rest of her action figure life. I'll kind of see how I'm vibing with it. But it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty nice. So not a bad figure. I forget where I even picked this figure up initially, but probably just go to your just go to your local Ollie's. They'll probably have one. If you want to do something, yeah, with that extra head sculpt that came with that Wasp and Ant-Man 2-pack, and you don't have any other plans for it, I think on this is not too bad. I think it looks pretty decent, so yeah. Fun little head swap there, cool little figure to add to the shelf to kind of see what I can do. I could probably do like a little excavation crew kind of pick. That might be something. That might be neat. So we'll see down the line, but she looks pretty decent for now. And then of course she comes with from the Temple of Doom, of course you have the artifact thing going on there. She comes with that little skull. Oh. Piece there. You can see. Hold on, I want to do. Kind of fun there, but nice sculpting. It looks pretty good. It has like, it is hollow on the back, but nice sculpting there with the teeth and the nose hole in the eyes and all the wrinkles on there to look just like in the movie. So pretty cool. Can't wait to complete this. I think I still need to get the, what is it, the other two main like the Indianas. The one that has the, what sleeve are they missing? Excuse me, the jacket, and then the other one that is like the temple version, I believe, is the other one I'm missing, because I have Short Round, and then I have Can't remember what other one is in a part of that wave. I'm trying to look at my Indiana line. I forget who else is in that line because I don't have the box for her because I just threw it away. Because I was just like, okay, I don't care about the box, but need to figure out which other indies I need to get because I know it's Indiana's. So need to get them to complete this artifact piece at some point, but that'll be down the line. But then something else, another figure, that I've had for a while, been sitting on opening, is another Indiana Jones figure, where this is the Dr. Jurgen Voller from the Dial of Destiny. Honestly, pretty good villain, not too bad. I was just like, okay, it's another Nazi, it's another dude. Pretty cool. And of course, he's a part of the like our other wave. I think this is our third or fourth wave, but but this is where most of these are from the Last Crusade. So where you got Indiana with the full-on jacket, you got the knight, you got the female Nazi, and then you got dad. What's his name? What's his dad's name? I can't remember what his dad's name is. Or like Senior, I guess. Indiana Senior or whatever. And then you also have the old ship guy who I guess was in Dial Destiny. I don't even remember him from that movie, but pretty cool. But I was debating on opening this just now, just to get it done, get it open, because I've been planning to kind of open this all week. I just haven't gotten to it. Because I just have some figures like this that just sit there on the pile, and I'm like, maybe one day I'll just get the whole wave, but it's like, it just hasn't happened, and I haven't really cared to do a stream, and I'm definitely not going to be doing a video of them, so I'm just like, I think we're just going to open this on the stream, and you can see there on the back, and then he comes with the piece of the artifact, so where it's like the main backing piece there, where I assume, is that Jesus? Is that what that's supposed to be? He's got the crown and everything, so. But then you got the guy who, which I will say, it is kind of weird he doesn't come with the Dial of Destiny, the actual dial, who just comes with a little duffel bag that I assume carries the Dial of Destiny, so it's weird that he wouldn't just have that, and they wouldn't maybe try to have the dial actually fit in there, because that would have been nice, to have the actual Dial of Destiny to come with one of the guys. So, in any case, I think we're going to open this up, have a little extra bonus unboxing while I yap. Because I do want to mention, finally, my pre-order for the for the Marvel Legends Miss Marvel, their fan channel kind of re-release of the Target exclusive version with the classic black suit with the big lightning bolt and with the domino mask and with the red kind of sash and the blonde hair. So I think it is Carol Danvers. I think it is. But that Miss Marvel, I know she's kind of Warbird. I think that's what they call her, but I always saw her as just Miss Marvel. That was always my thought. So expect that to be shown off next week. It's not going to be on this, it's not going to be a live stream one, but expect it sooner than later. Definitely next month for sure, because I don't think I'll be able to wait too long. Because that figure has been on my list for a while to get a good version of that character. Because I did grow up, if any of y'all are as young as me and remember the Marvel, the superhero squad show, and yeah, and Miss Marvel was a big character in that. She was kind of more just like your generic Valley girl. But I always thought that she was a cool looking character anyway, so I didn't really mind that. So I was just like, okay, cool. She looks cool. Got a cool figure. What the heck? But there's our emptiness. Like our soul. There's our setup here. Have your big Hasbro paper down to the ground, but then you got your thing, which shows off that you have built an artifact, which is this humongous thing. Neat. And then the actual figure, and I assume the accessories are in either of these bags, but there's your insert there. So very nice that they have a little image there to be like, this is how you put it together. It comes with each figure kind of probably pretty easily, so. There we go. Cardboard. First we'll get out our accessories, and I think our bag is in here too. And they, surprisingly enough, they actually did tape this. I don't always want to tear the bag up too much. So I always like kind of saving these bags in case I need to store anything. Or if I'm like traveling, I can use these bags easily. And if they get damaged, I can just throw them away and then use more. So that's all in there. So first we have the, what the heck? Oh, okay, well, gotta make sure you not lose that. First we have our actual backing piece for the, kind of for the Holy Grail kind of, I guess, kind of table setup. And I assume that this is supposed to be the Lord Jesus Christ. He's got the crown, he's got the 2 fingers and the thumb up, and then the hand down with the book there, and he's like sitting, unless it's like some other thing, and it's like, oh, it's just God or something, but you know. But still, nice sculpt there. Not the most complicated, still very generic, but you do have some nice shade work, and the sculpt is actually good there. Of course, it's hollow on the back anyways, but that's what it's meant to do. It's supposed to be pretty malleable, so pretty cool. Gonna be neat to maybe one day complete that. And then you do get packed in, of course, his little satchel there that has like the little latches and everything, and I assume like this little lock piece on the front, and then you have the actual straps there with the gold pieces there, and then also just the smaller just handle there. Very nice. And then also does have some nice sculpting to show. It does have a little bit of weight, and it is kind of a little bit heavier, so that's nice. You can actually get some feel out of this, so that's pretty cool. And it's a decent sculpt, so pretty simple. But then also in that same accessory bag, there is also, what is his name? Dr. Jürgen Voller. So there's the doctor's glasses. They're kind of like a purplish kind of maroon color. More so like maroon, but it's definitely like more of a lighter tone, I feel, but pretty nice glasses. Just don't want to lose those. And getting a full figure out. Another bag. Down to the ground, and there's our dude with his fixed hat. And there he is. Actually not too shabby. Honestly, not the greatest likeness to the actual actor. I think his name is, yeah, what is it? Ben Nicholson? I forget what his name is, but he's on like everything now, so. Yeah, and he's also like, he's very good at acting, but I'm just like, okay, it's the dude. But he's cool. He looks all right. I've mainly only been seeing this recently. This body specifically, on specifically Robo Don't Know, where he's using this body for what's his name? The redhead dude from the X-Men with the sunglasses. He like works for like a corporation or something. I forget what it is, but he's been using the morph, the extra head that comes with that to use on this body, and it looks pretty good. I don't have that morph. I don't have an extra head like that, but I'm like, okay, I think it's time to finally get this guy out and see what he's all about. But nice sculpting. Excuse me, I will be like yawning all day, it feels like, but has a nice dark green tie, has the dark kind of chocolatey kind of colored suit, has the pale blue undershirt there with the black belt, a nice kind of like orangey, kind of warmer shoes, and does have like and the hat does have a bit of a different texture going on. This also has kind of like dust all over it, like little specks everywhere. But it is kind of like a greenish tone, like a brownish green to the hat. And he does have a bit of stubble there on the actual around the chin and everything, so that's pretty good. So pretty nice. And we'll try to get his glasses on here, see how hard it is actually getting this on. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Because they seem to do have like little divots. Well, they look pretty good. They don't really match with anything on the actual suit, so I kind of wish it did a bit, but if it's accurate, that's how it is, so I'm not going to complain too much, but it looks pretty good. And of course, he'll have his little bag on him. And there he is, Professor Jurgen Volar. But pretty cool. I kind of wish he actually came with an actual Dial of Destiny, because I don't think that there's a single figure. That does come with it, because I have the older... Oh, yeah, that's the one I have already. Is the older Indiana. Actually, I'll just grab him right now. Yeah, I see him right in front of me. Indy. He might be a bit dusty, but that's fine. But you have... Yeah, but here's my Dial of Destiny, Indiana. And here's Jurgen next to that. And then even we could do next to what's her name, who I can't remember the name of, but was the actress like in a show called like Fleabag? Is that the same actress? Is this the same lady, or is this a different actress? That I'm assuming of, and can't remember that British show because she's British. But but there she is with Jurgen. There they are with Indiana. So got basically like the main lineup of the line. Of course, didn't really, of course I don't have the captain, like the one ship dude, like the old guy, whoever he is. I don't even remember him existing in that movie, so oh well. But they all look pretty good. Nice little assortment of what's going on here. But it would have been nice, as I've been saying, to actually get an actual Dial of Destiny accessory would have been, I think, the perfect thing to do. But even still, looks pretty sweet, so not too bad. But yeah, there's Jurgen. Does all the standard stuff. I probably will do something else with this figure because it doesn't really give me that much. Oh yeah, but I do want to mention Yeah, with these Indiana Jones figures, specifically with the male characters, they always have the little balls at the end of the wrist instead of just your hinges. So they actually do get, like, okay, so they don't get that much range, but honestly, for me, it's not really that much of a problem. Kind of wish that they would do this with more lines. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't really do this with their Power Rangers line when they were making them. I feel like that would kind of work up their alley, but I guess if they want to do more with that line, so they can do whatever they want. But yeah, but Jurgen's fine. I kind of, main gripe should have been coming with a Dial of Destiny, including the bag. Beyond that, it's him. It's that dude. He looks pretty cool. He's the guy in the suit doing Nazi shit as always, because that's who Indiana has to deal with. Nazis. It's always Nazis. Oh, knocking over my camera. Oh, thank you to whoever liked. I appreciate it. And if y'all want to see anything or have any questions or any comments, feel free to send them here in the chat, here live. I would love to answer some questions or anything, or if y'all have any opinions. Then what else? I know I also do have the okay. So yeah, so the Miss Marvel coming here on Monday. So expect her within the next month or so, kind of later on. But trying to think of what else other figures. I think I already mentioned I did pre-order the Haya GMK Godzilla. It did say it is supposed to be coming. It's supposed to be coming in March. So hopefully that'll ship probably sooner than later, because I'm kind of ready to get that figure in my hands, because it's been a while since I've really gotten a new Godzilla figure. Truthfully, that is a Godzilla figure. I mean, last time was probably was it? No, because I got maybe it was the end of or the start of the month. That might have been last year. What did I get this year? Oh yeah, I got the the 2099 Spider-Man. I forgot what I got for my birthday. And I'm like, what the heck? And then Christmas, I definitely didn't get any Godzilla figures. I'm trying to think of when last time, because I think my newest one is probably still the Super 7 -1 Godzilla figure, which is pretty good. It's pretty perfect, to be honest. It's kind of surprised, and I was like, oh, this guy actually looks badass. And then paint is amazing, and then he's huge, but I kind of don't mind that with that version of Godzilla. I think he needs to be that big. Of course, he probably isn't actually that big compared to the rest, but what do you do? It's a cool figure. It's definitely better than the SH Monster Arts. And I don't think that Haya's ever teased or shown off that they're going to be doing what is it? A -1 Godzilla. Hopefully, maybe sometime this year, maybe next year, they'll finally do something. I forget if Haya really had a booth at Toy Fair. I think they did, but they haven't really, I don't think, really been showing off that much stuff. Besides, they did do their battle damage version of the Heisei King Ghidorah, which is pretty cool, which is pretty sick, to be honest. So yeah. But got the GMK to look forward to. Got the Secret Wars Daredevil on pre-order too. So definitely gotta pick those up at some point. Can't wait. Can't wait to get those on my hands, because I pre-ordered them. Just gotta get them here. So I can't wait to get that Daredevil been needing a more classic Daredevil, and this has been like, I think, the one for me to finally get. I think that they finally got me on it, and I'm like, okay, I'll invest. I will finally get a Daredevil. Yeah, that I think looks pretty good. I think it is, like, of course, it is more based on the actual Super 7. Oh. Man. I am yawning like heck today. Sorry if I'm like extra tired. Every day has been a battle at work. Always working like crazy, stressing me out. And then I come home and I try to just not do anything. and then I'm like, oh, 8 o'clock? Time for sleep. But not on Fridays. We stay up late. Because it's the weekend. Because we'll do whatever we want. Because we're adults. I'm an adult. At least for me. As much as I can be. But yeah. I'm just rambling so much. I'm just ready to talk figures. So I think we'll finally get into it. We're more than a half hour in. We're at 36 minutes and 20 seconds. So I think we will finally get into our turtle stuff. And finally get talking about the right thing. I don't know. I'm just so tired, but I am ready to look at this Dirk Savage and Mona Lisa. So let's get this camera over and get going. Oh, bit close, aren't we, fellas? Okay. But here they are in all their plastic glory. Of course, this is from the NECA cartoon line. So where this is kind of like their, oh, we all know, like a part of the cartoon line. So where they typically do a like a 2-pack with 1 or 2 characters, or even like they'll do like one kind of like more ultimate figure, or kind of like a bigger figure they'll do by itself. But this was back in, this was originally a Target exclusive back in either 2023 or 2022, based on what the box says. So I've basically had this set ever since it came out. And since it was available, so I've just been like, okay, here it is. It's been sitting in the corner with the pile, with all the other turtle cartoon stuff, that I've been kind of holding on to. So, yeah, finally nice to kind of get one big thing out of there. And mainly also to start including more unique characters into the cartoon turtle shelf that I'm not really familiar with. Because most of mine I'm pretty familiar with. Only weird thing is kind of like the April at the Channel 6 kind of Werecat setup. I still need to put up my review for that. I recorded it. Just need to do the voiceover and the editing, like straight up. It's been sitting there for years. But I have that set and they look great. So that's kind of like the one weird thing I'm not used to with turtles, but all the rest of the stuff. But these 2 characters specifically are kind of are a bit new with me. I know like the whole thing with Mona Lisa was like a whole like a love story with her and Raphael, the cartoon, and I think he was really like the only turtle that really was with her during that time. And then of course you got Dirk Savage, who was the mutant hunter, who was like hunting down, I think it was specifically a couple of the punk frogs, a couple of the turtles, and then I think the Toka and Razor. I think that was their debut episode, wasn't it? In the cartoon, they might have had one before, but I don't know. But yeah, they look pretty good. For being like about like what by this point, like 3 to 4 years old. So Yeah. But get into this packaging. So, of course, here at the top, you have your Nickelodeon logo, your Dirk Savage and Mona Lisa. Little art there. You have your little green shell kind of design here up at the top that goes all the way up here to your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. There, more Nickelodeon and 14 plus warning, choking hazard. And then nice little art of Dirk and of Mona Lisa there. Pretty clean. Have your turtle logo there again. Of course, see the whole window with either of the figures with some of their accessories. Not everything kind of shown because they really pack all this stuff up pretty well. And then on this side, have your Nickelodeon logo there with the turtle logo here, and then a nice promo art of Dirk Savage. I always want to say Kirk. I'm always like, Kirk Savage, but no, this is Dirk Savage. And then on the other side, same thing. With the Nickelodeon and turtle logo. And then you have Mona Lisa, a nice little promo art there. And I think she's like a lizard, right? Isn't she? I can't really remember. But on the bottom, have your wonderful people who made these wonderful figures, as always. 2022 Viacom, NECA, Real Toys, all the other things. Your barcode made in China. Then, of course, we have on the back here your same, Nickelodeon, Turtles, Dirk Savage, and Mona Lisa. With that turtle shell and motif going on there with some, with like a paired up kind of individual, kind of like promo images of the two figures. And then this is basically like their basic kind of rundown of the origin of the turtles. I think kind of like how they did back in the Playmates, where they, would always have for each character, I think you would always have like an origin of the turtles in there. But, it would always be nice to maybe get different bios that are specific to these, because I think when they do the Ultimates now, like they are like individualized more. So that's pretty good. And then have the collect them all, where you got Lotus and Chakahachi. I think it's Chakahachi. I do have that set. I have to open that up at some point. Just haven't really cared too much, honestly. Rex 1, I never saw in person. I gotta get him. He's actually pretty cool. So, pretty neat. And then you got Zack and Smash. I'm just not familiar with these characters, so I didn't really care too much to really get them, but they look pretty good. I mean, I like Smash. I like the thought of, that there's always a certain kind of like a group of humans that try to use the turtle look in the name. And then the fact that they built like that army builder for that pack, for that purpose is pretty neat. So definitely gotta probably get those imposter turtles at some point. But in any case, let me get comfortable. We are gonna go ahead, open up these figures, get our hands on them. Hopefully we don't break nothing, because as we know, older NECA figures and even still newer ones are a little more sensitive when it comes to messing around out of the box. Let's grab our trusty, as we saw before, X-Acto blade. Pretty good. I think we'll just open from Mona Lisa's side, because that's what we usually do on the left. Get you in there. There we go. Pretty simple. And then, of course, the insert is their standard, kind of like their cartoon kind of sewer, kind of giant entrance there. Kind of like that dumping grounds for it. But they have that packed usually, I think, with most of the 2 packs. So we're not really going to look at that too much. But there's our set here. Looking pretty good. And you see all the stuff that comes with them, including, you can see here on the back, they do have a also separate hand tray that is also taped down, I think. So we'll do that first in our unboxing. There we go. Those are sets of hands there for now. And we'll lay these folks down. So we'll probably be going over all of our accessories first as we unpack it, and then finally get into the figures at the end, and then do our massive comparisons. Essentially with the whole cartoon slash Archie slash Super 7 kind of turtle lines. Mainly supposed to be cartoon based, but everything isn't the cartoon, at least a couple. Well, like 3 at most aren't, you know, based off of the cartoon, but most of them, well, like 4. We'll say like 4. I don't think are actually from the cartoon line, but they work well enough for me based on what I need for my collection. So yeah, we will get this set open. So there's our plastic. I gotta be more careful with that. Pour them out there. So first of the alternate hands that come with Dirk, you do have 2 trigger finger hands. Open pretty simple there. And then you do have, well, is this the... Yeah, and then you have your 2 grip hands. Just kind of basic C grip. And then again, our 2 trigger fingers. So pretty simple, but not bad at all. Definitely kind of needed to do that. But then for Mona Lisa, she comes with probably the most, well, she definitely comes with the most like alternate hands. So first she has her split out hands that have the 2 fingers connected, so you don't see, I guess, like the webbing. So they're kind of just more basic, kind of just splayed out hands. Have your 2 grip hands as well, that C shape there. And of course, she's have her 3 fingers and the 1 thumb. Well, 4 fingers, I always call it, because I'm just like, okay. But I'll specify, because I know people prefer that, because she's a lizard woman, and then 2 fists as well. So very, very good. Very nice to include those in their setups, and the fact you don't even really see those, and so you don't think about that at first when unboxing, but these look pretty good. Then we'll go ahead and get started on looking at everything. Try out one of my other tools. Of course, have my trusty snips right here. First, how do I want to do this? I guess I'll do all the accessories. So I'll do all the ones of each figure, and then I'll move on to the other accessories of the other figure, and then we'll go from there. So first, have this little, I think this is actually like a holster Yeah, for yeah, what's his name? Dirk Savage. Yeah, for Dirk Savage's kind of like his double barrel laser gun, I guess, or shotgun is there. So very nice. All gray, has a little strap around to the back, has this plug-in piece for the back, and then has a clip, I assume, for that blue thing. There, and then there we go. Do want to get all these bits out of here, but then we also have his little ray gun here, which is pretty cool. Has this tube here, divots on the side, and then of course the red for the actual side. The printing on it isn't the greatest on that side. It's pretty okay, but kind of dirty on the actual gun. But, you know, not too shabby. Works very well for what it's supposed to be. Oh, and we'll get accessories over there. That was the plan in the first place. All right, then free up Dirk Savage's weapons. I don't know why, but in my head, I keep wanting to say kind of like Dick Dastardly. I don't know why my brain goes to Hanna-Barbera. I guess it's because it's Dirk Savage, so I'm like Dick Dastardly. It's like your same kind of like, I guess, yeah, what's the word? Syllables? Is that it? Dirk Savage. Dick Dastardly. Well, that's like 4. What do you call that word? I can't remember what that word is right now. What did I just say? I can't remember the word I just said, bro. Too much work. There's this little, I guess it's like a prod thing. It kind of looks like a cattle prod kind of thing that they would like use, like a future prod thing. It has like a button on there. I assume that kind of like electrocutes, because it's just supposed to be like a metal rod. Then you have some padding up there, and then of course your grip there, which is pretty well done. Then have his double barrel kind of laser rifle, whatever it is. I assume it's a laser gun because, you know, Ninja Turtles. So yeah, pretty cool. Just has like a stock there, has the strap, and very nicely shaped, very cartoonish, very kind of like that futuristic look, but pretty simple. That looks good. And we'll get into our middle section here. See where I gotta go at my angles. I think this is also oh, I see. So there is a strap there, both here at the bottom and here at the top. There we go. Plastic away. More plastic away. Join the crew. All right, so then first thing, probably actually the most like impressive thing in my opinion, like craziest looking thing, is this little is Dirk Savage's little, I guess, kind of like catcher thing. It's kind of like a little slider thing, and I think your foot's supposed to like be caught up in it, or it does something. And so apparently I think Dirk kind of like slides this and gets like Toka or someone with it. I can't remember exactly, but pretty nice. Has really clean panel lining there. That very cartoonish, very two-tone thing there with the 2 red buttons on there and that kind of like cylinder, kind of dark spaces there. And then at the top have this little laser cage thing, and then with a little kind of like stand or kind of like platform in there. And as y'all saw, this is removable. You can, of course, do that, and it is rotatable. So it just sits there loosely. So not too bad, though. And then just a solid gray at the bottom. So a nice little accessory. It's like an actual, like a tool. I could probably actually like use this or something. So that's pretty neat. We'll keep that space for that, because our last thing for Dirk Savage specifically are his cuffs here, like his wristbands or whatever you want to call them. They're all white and black with the padding on the sides there, but they're connected with this little hose kind of tube thing. And then it's supposed to just go over any, I guess, characters or specifically any mutants' kind of wrist to restrain them. So that's pretty cool. Then now we'll finally move on to Mona Lisa's accessories. Of course, the ones we got here, pretty simple. You have a physics and a chemistry book in red and blue. Very simple. Page sculpting there, so pretty nice. But same book, but just different sculpting when it comes to doing this. Well, it might be the same book, but they just put in physics instead of chemistry. So yeah, I think it is just the same book. But you do have the little spine there that has the one black line there at the front. So pretty good, and nice little accessories. Tub ring in, pretty simple, but pretty neat. And then she also has cover for this, which makes sense. I don't really remember what this episode was mainly about, but it seems like that she does science pretty well. Or did she get like turned into this or something somehow? I can't remember, but all I know is that she was Raphael's love interest, and I don't think she's really came back ever since. I think she came back one more time. I think it was in like the 2012 cartoon. That feels right, but I don't know. And then this thing, get out. Okay, plastic. All right, so first, show off our little vial pieces, our little vial stand, actually. So this is actually a really nice accessory to add here. So where you have a vial with a blue kind of liquid going on there, a vial with a green thing going on there, and then have the pink stuff going on in there, that other vial. They're all actual individual pieces on here, so maybe they can actually maybe sit up a bit differently if you wanted to. And then do, I guess, that if you can. I don't know if you really, oh. Yeah, but then the actual stand is actually pretty nice. It's just a basic brown, kind of like pieces of wood. But as you can see, these are all removable. These all are separate little pieces, but you can see how they stay in there at the top with that little edge there, but very nice. It's kind of cloudy up there at the top too, so kind of makes it look more liquidy. But if you want, I guess, to kind of like put other things in this, you do have the option with the 3 things there, but I think this is gonna keep my test tubes in here. So pretty good. Nice little accessory to have. And they kind of look like that they're like glowing with how the paint works with the actual little plastic pieces. And these are plastic. Yeah, these are not actual glass. Little vials. Here are next one. Actually, this one's actually pretty good too, and does actually have little specific pieces. Let me fix it real quick. First, well, Carpet Monster is about to take that. Hold on. I do not want that to be lost in time right now. So I've already, there we go. Put that back in. And I shall leave it there. Ooh. Why no do? Why no do? All right. So here's our little kind of just our regular, I guess, kind of beaker. Well, it's not even a beaker. Yeah, this is just like another like old vial thing. But has the cork at the top, has this little stand here, and the cork is removable. You can just see down in there, but I've already dropped this already, and it went under the table, but I was able to retrieve it easily. It didn't go that far, but, you know, and then, of course, this whole piece is separate. So if you want to put something else on here, you can, but this works very, very, very well still. There we go. And then our last little science, or kind of like equipment, or like lab equipment, I will say, is this little piece here with the longer neck beaker with the pink stuff in it. Has like that little, kind of like that straw thing that they always use for it. And this is actual, well, this is like a rubbery. I don't think it's supposed to come out. It feels glued in, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. But an all white kind of thing there, and it's fairly clean. So very, very cool. I do feel like I could like go down lower based on what even the thing is, but it feels pretty solid and I don't want to break it, so pretty neat. And then, you know, another unique accessory, very cartoonish, a little bit of comic booky kind of complication for it, but looks great anyways. And then our one only separate actual head sculpt, which does have a tie on it, which I will take care of. And you can even see that these twist ties, that they have already aged a bit. They've already yellowed as the plastic is aged. Thankfully not with these figures. It kind of makes sense. All right. And then here's our one alternate head sculpt here, which is the one with Mona Lisa, where she is just angry with the angry eyebrows. The eyelids are kind of more pointed down, and then the gritted teeth there, which she has her standard kind of hair with the 2 fluffs in the front with the pink tie, and then the kind of like your ponytail going on back there with the brown hair. So yeah, Pretty cool. And has the dark lines there for that comic book look. And she kind of does have kind of like a female kind of like turtle face, or just a regular kind of turtle face. Yeah, she does have the kind of like the same nose and like the cheek structures as the turtles, but hers are a little bit more, I think, subdued, a little bit more squashed. I think she's more, I don't know. I think it's, yeah, it's just a more tighter kind of like shape to it compared to the turtles, where they're more, I think, more flat-headed. She is a little bit more like vertical with that, but more rounded out. So pretty good sculpt though. It looks pretty neat. But then we'll finally get into our figures. I kind of want to do okay. Who are y'all feeling? Who should we take out of the box first? I'm kind of feeling, just do Mona Lisa. I think she has the less kind of options to work with. So maybe do Mona Lisa first, or do we want to do Dirk Savage? Trying to think. I probably want to say Mona Lisa, because Dirk Savage is like, he's your bigger figure, and I think for a lot of people more of the highlight. I'm more familiar with Mona Lisa personally. But Dirk Savage seems to be pretty good, so I just might go ahead with Mona Lisa, because she has the least amount of accessories to kind of mess around with. Maybe the hardest part will probably be switching out that head, but we'll see down the line. We're just gonna do this off camera from, to snip these guys out. We might as well do both anyways, I guess. Now, Mona Lisa with that piece. The one around the legs did not stay. Actually, kind of lucky me. Trying to see if I can just get her out without taking out the one that's under the hair, but I don't think I'll be able to. Ooh. Get her out. Then we'll go ahead and get Dirk Savage out from here too. That flew across the room. All right. Got the wrist, other wrist. Got that too. And then I know there's one around the feet, the boots. And then, of course, the one that's around the neck. That's the nearest impossible to actually get to, so I'll have to do it from the back. Very carefully. Very efficiently. Well, as efficient as I can be at this moment. So I also want to be careful to not cut open my fingers with these. Oh, what do you mean I didn't get that? What? Did I not get the other wrist? Oh, well, what did I get then? Did they double do the wrist? have to rewatch that. Ugh. Okay. More. Of the wrist. What the heck? It's like, oh, they put one. Hold on. They put the. Okay. They had to put the. Yeah, they had put the wrist strap. Yeah, that went around the wrist. They literally put it. Yeah, they literally had it. Okay. There's our plastic. They literally fed one of these where it literally went through the gauntlet. You can see like that tiny gap that's not there with this one. That really tiny gap, which you can barely even notice, but, and that's a good thing, but yeah, but they had a, yeah, they had a tie around there, but it's gone back up, so it's fine now. But there's our Dirk Savage. Oh. And our Mona Lisa. I do kind of forget like the feel of these that these initially have because they're straight from the factory. Pretty clean. All right. Ugh. Let's get this camera down for a minute and we'll, for now, we shall focus on Mona Lisa. Looks pretty good. Nice sculpting going on here with the face. Has just your standard kind of smile. Does have kind of like that cartoonish kind of lizard look. She does have also a bit of red on her nose. I never noticed that. That kind of sucks. Then I have that as a mark. I guess I can maybe just clean that off, hopefully. But then you have her eyelids. They're not really half lidded, but she's just happy. Has the hair with the two tufts. And then with the pink hairband and with the ponytail. All that same sculpting going on there, I believe. Seems like it. To the T, exactly the same. Just the different expression. And then you have this little scarf, pink scarf thing going on here. So that's pretty nice. Then has the kind of like, is that like an olive green? You would call that? Kind of middle piece there. The black lining to show the different variations of the skin, and then how that color actually continues down to the tail on the other, like on the underside of it, and then on the back have your darker green there, and then that goes also with the tail as well. But then for the rest of the body, it's all just this cell shading one, so where it's like this lighter green that matches with the head, and then have kind of like this darker kind of shadow tone of that same color going on down the whole body, even down to the feet. It's pretty good. And then she does have her own little belt here, kind of reminiscent of the turtles. Yeah, with having the gray spot in the middle, and then it's just a round strap. Maybe even with, yeah, maybe she could have had like, you know, like the whole, like the letter on the thing, like have an M, but it's just the one. But she looks pretty cool still. And then has the two-toed feet, just like the turtles. So works pretty well. And then we'll go over articulation. I know I probably want to be more careful with this. I'm kind of good right now, but there is just a head. Yeah, I think it's just a ball at the top of the head. Where you also, I think, have a ball at the bottom of the neck there too. So all together, look down about that far, look up. When she doesn't get the help, looks up about that far, can do side to side, can do rotation a little bit stiff. Not too bad, but then at the shoulder, have your typical hinge, goes up about that far, comes down, comes around, bicep swivel, full 360, a little scary, but we're good. Double jointed elbow. Oh, I didn't even mention, actually, with these hands that she's packed in with, you do have the web showing of the fingers. So that's pretty cool. And then with those hands, they are a side to side. The rotation of those hands. And I think that's kind of all the same. With the rest, I don't think one of them have a just an up and down. Well, there is a one. No, it's still side to side. So yeah, all just side to side hands and nothing for your up and down kind of wrist articulation there. But then at the torso, you got another ball, so she can kind of hula hoop around. She crunches about that forward, crunches back, and then tilt, and then ooh. Can't do a 360. A little stuff. Yeah, a little stuck there, especially on the right side. Definitely encouraging the left, so not too bad. But then at the thighs, you do have a kind of like a cut there, kind of like a swivel. But on this one, you don't really get too much, and it does feel a little stuck. So might be good to heat up that, because it does have like a gap that this one doesn't have on the other side. But I just don't know if that's just how it just is, or how they sculpted it, and I am pushing it. And you can see what not to do. But I feel like this is supposed to go more that way. Yeah, I think that definitely needs to be heated up. You can see it's just the ball in there. I should be more careful. All right, I'm not going to push it anymore, but at the upper thigh cut, you do kind of get side to side. You do have very stiff double jointed knees there. Pretty good. They are pinned, though. That's the same for the arms, so maybe it might be time to do another update, maybe of some of these figures, maybe even of Dirk Savage, even though I've had this for like years, and they probably don't really care that much, especially about these characters, which makes sense. But in any case, she also has articulation here. The tail at the base there is just a ball, so tail can go up that far, come back down to the body. That far, can rotate, but then also kind of just can go all around, side to side, kind of just around and around. And of course, it can either stand straight up or come back down, which is the main thing. Kind of see how she can stand, give her a more action. Oh yeah. But then you do have at the like at the feet, you do have a actual hinge forward and back with the disc with the rod that goes at the front of the toes, and you are probably supposed to have some ankle rocker, but it seems a bit stiff, and I do not want to push them. I can get like a tiny bit, but like barely. So gonna have to heat that up, especially for this figure. You probably won't be able to do too many dynamic poses, especially now. And there she is. Pretty cool. Pretty neat. I'm not gonna try to switch out the heads. It seems like this is kind of, I'll have to heat that up anyways. Two, I could get her to maybe hold at least a vial. So I'll do the right. No, I'll do that in the left hand. Kind of see how hard these hands are kind of to get out. Not too bad. A bit of excess paint, but that's kind of to be expected. But these are also kind of more brittle figures. Let me see what kind of vial I would get into. Maybe do the blue. But yeah, but there's her with a little vial, just for as a basic example. And I think it looks pretty good. You have the blue kind of thing of that, but I hate that that's there. I don't know how that is up there. I'll definitely have to give her a wash or something after this, a live stream, because that's very annoying to keep seeing. It kind of sucks I can't really switch out the alternate head then. Something that's supposed to switch heads easily, it does not want to come out. Is that a hinge down there? I don't know. Very weird. Alrighty. Oh. Let's see. What else could I do? I could have her holding another vial. See how this one goes. We'll do just a fist. Kind of like think of her as like a scientist kind of character now, which is kind of weird, but yeah, there she is, kind of like inspecting it with her this stuff, where she's like, yes, I finally solved this kerfuffle, so now I can do mutation stuff or whatever, or not do mutation stuff anymore. I can't remember what the plot is. Yeah, that. I guess I'll have her just hold like this blue vial. I think it just makes more sense. But there she is. Just hanging out there. But there she is. In all her plastic glory. Actually looking pretty good. I had low expectations for this figure, but overall, it's still pretty fun. I like the thought of her doing science, doing chemistry, and physics, and doing all of the weird, I guess, might be mutation stuff going on. So, yeah. Well, fun little figure. That just looks pretty great. Nice. The next, get over with Dirk Savage. So we'll move her stuff over here. And Dirk's all right here. But Dirk by himself, I do gotta say, is very obviously his guy. This dude is like, if you combined like Van Helsing with with Nick Fury, you get Dirk Savage, a mutant kind of bounty hunter dude, missing an eye. Luke Nicholson asks, do you have Deadpool? I do have a Deadpool. I have a few Deadpools. Would you like to see it? I shall bring it out if you want to. Do you want comic or MCU? Because I got both of those too. I'm going to assume comic because that's what I'll probably go for. But Dirk looks pretty great. Anyways, but I'll grab a Deadpool. Just to oblige for y'all. Yes, please, both. Okay, I can do both. That's not hopefully too bad. I can't remember where my Deadpool is for MCU, but I shall see. But there's Dirk Savage. Here, I'll actually go check. Oh, what's going on? Deadpool, where are you at, bud? He is not over there. Where is he? Okay, hold on. Oh. I'm in a compromised position at the moment. Hold on. Now, how do I get around? Like this. Okay. Okay, where is this? There he is. Actually, I have him in a pretty funny pose. Okay. Got him. We got him, brother. Alright. We'll put them side by side and show them off. But fair warning. MCU Deadpool is not doing a PG. He's doing an R thing. Well, you can do this in PG maybe. I don't know. In PG-13 for sure. But there you have the comic and MCU. MCU is doing a big old fuck you, brother. Looks pretty good. And then this is specifically the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Deadpool and Hydra Bob 2-pack version. My favorite. They look sick. I like the MCU version better, says Luke Nicholas. They look so good together. Honestly, they work super well. I'm kind of surprised. I think it's the fact that I literally have this Deadpool where he's basically kind of like has a Logan. Like he has like his arm, wrapped around for Logan. Like around him. And then this one just kind of works well with that pose because he's naturally looking the other way, so they can both do a pose while also being like, yeah, we're still Deadpool. Fuck you, bro. I'm Deadpool. And this is a custom hand, if that's not obvious compared to the regular stock hand there. Yeah, but they're really cool. Fun little dudes. Fun figures. And a lot of red. Just like Dirk Savage with this kind of this really tight red shirt here. Does have the pins on the sides. That would be nice to have. Luke asks, what's your favorite figure you have? I assume for a superhero or a superhero. Favorite? It's probably that Spider-Man right there. I think he's definitely my favorite. Definitely kind of like the one. Kind of like the Spider-Man figure for me right now. You can see. This is the what is this? This is the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends version. And it just looks, I just gotta say, spectacular. I think it just looks great. It's probably my favorite one, because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. If that wasn't obvious enough by the Spider-Man collection. I mean, I'm not the hugest investment person in the X-Men, but still got a whole thing and still love these characters, even if they're not my total favorite. Sorry, I know you're trying to review this. No, you're good, Luke. I don't mind tangenting off and talking toys. I got so many. I gotta talk about others at some point too. But yeah, but if anyone else here on the live stream has any questions or want to see any other figures, feel free to ask. But there's Dirk Savage there. Pretty good. Has the strap with the gold buckle there. Has has some shoulder padding around there, and this is a separate piece there. Has a hole for the actual hole of the body there that matches there, kind of like a key shape. Have another hole there on the back. So I guess you just get that all lined up there, and then of course saw there, that does mean that's where this guy goes. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Oh, I subbed. Oh, well, thank you, Luke. Luke and Nicholas, I appreciate the subscription. I assume that you're also my second like. So I appreciate the support. Dirk Savage still has, he still had a bit of plastic thing behind his chin. Yes. Oh, well, thank you, Luke. Appreciate the support, man. I'm gonna try to get this thing in here. All right, but there we go. So where his holster is now back there, so that's all connected. So it makes, I think, kind of sense being connected to these two belt pieces, because you have this one black strap that comes around, and I assume that's more specifically for this, maybe? Even though this actually does go through the brown one, so that actually makes more sense. We're going with that, so this strap is just there for design. And then it has the two shoulder pads that are kind of, they look like wood, but they have these little white kind of like maybe plating pieces, unless these are supposed to be like pouches. On the box, they kind of look like pouches. I don't know, but these are like flat. So you can't really store anything in these, but not too bad. But then that red sleeve there with the same line. It has these gauntlets. Match up there, kind of like a grayish color there. It has the little circles and other things. And then has this little, I guess, wiring or kind of grenade thing, and then two little green equipment pieces there. Has another pouch on the back there. Has another little green vial thing, whatever that is, and then the gold buckle. But Luke asks, what do you collect any other kind of figures? Yeah, mainly just action figures, but as you can see, a lot of Marvel Legends. I do collect the NECA Ninja Turtles cartoon collection. I also got a lot of horror, from NECA, kind of like newer and older, more classic horror icons. Have some Mezco, have a lot of Godzilla stuff as per the name. Have a whole DC display, mainly Mezco, some McFarlane. One Fond Joy, some Mafex. Yeah, I collect horror too. Nice, Luke. And then have a G.I. Joe, that whole thing. Have a whole miscellaneous thing. Because I have like Power Rangers, I got Indiana Jones. If you saw earlier, got Dragon Ball, got He-Man, got Sonic, Mario, Minecraft, Star Wars, multiple different versions of the Ninja Turtles, got Street Fighter, a whole Mezco kind of Rumbleverse collection. That's like everything really I'm listing off. And then there's like Mirage Turtles, Playmates Turtles. I got so much. It's a lot, if I shall be honest. Why is there that paint? Weird. It's like more flakes. Okay. But there's his legs there. Has like a gray kind of start of the pants there. Has like this dark blue kind of legs here, arms. Or, yeah, with the legs. And has these big pouches there. Has the boots with the gray tops and the white there. And then the gray bottoms. Viacom 2022. Nothing there. Does that also do the thing? It also does do that. Viacom 2022. Does have a peg hole. And he has both of his feet with holes too. So very, very good. And so then get into articulation. I think he does have the same kind of setup. So a ball at the top of the head and then also a ball at the bottom of the neck. So he can actually look up pretty far. Oh, I didn't even really like say eye patch looks great. The giant butt chin is amazing. It's so like generic, but it works so well. Has the giant floofy hair and then the shadow. Yeah, the 5 o'clock shadow or the 4 o'clock shadow, whatever they call it. But yeah, the little beard shadow is super well done. It just looks great right out of the cartoon. So we can look up about that far. Sorry that he's blown out my camera. He's like so white. It's like white there, white skin here, man. And then it comes down about that far. Comes side to side and then bit of a rotation takes some effort. It mainly does it at the neck, but you can do a whole all around at the shoulder. Kind of stiff, but you can go about that far, come back down, can come forward, actually say about that far, even if you want to do like a full 360, can really do it because this is a rubbery piece, so it'll move out of the way easily. An arm, here, let me fix this. Double jointed elbow. Well, let me get this right. I feel like this thing is moving. Excuse me. Killer Goop. Welcome to the live stream. That's actually that's a funny name. I like NECA figs too. They are so good. They are. Do you collect specifically TMNT, or do you collect like other lines like horror, or maybe like you have any like Godzilla stuff, or I'm trying to think what else NECA does. I mean, that's mainly what I collect them for, but you know, or like the D&D other ones. Just a lot of horror, I think. Which makes sense. But, you know, but there's Dirk Savage. Double jointed elbow there, goes pretty far up. And all the hands, you do have a rotation and a in and out. Paint is kind of thick on these guys. Ugh. It's not the same. Oh, it might be. So they all do go side to side, but they're all pretty much stuck. So I'm not gonna force them at this moment. Then at the torso here, I'm just gonna take out this thing. I should have just kept that. But Luke asks, can you show me the Miles Morales figure in the background? That one? The, yeah, my Spider-Verse? That is the, yeah, that's the, yeah, the Spider-Verse one. Oh. Hold on. This feels a little more correct. Let me do her like that. Well, actually gonna take some space, so. But yeah, but there's our, we'll get Miles. He's honestly like a great figure. So this is the Into the Spider-Verse version of Miles, the final suit at the end. Specifically, just more kind of like just the suit, because this is the Sentinel Toys that also has a custom neck extender for it, because it just makes it look way better. Makes it a little bit more proportionate, feels just right for Miles. Because, like, look at this. Super fun. Super cool. Because it's nice to finally have a... Because, you know, like, it's nice to have great interpretations of these awesome animated movies. And of course, got the Gwen from Sentinel. I got the Mafex Peter B. Parker with the Marvel Legends Peter B. Parker head sculpt and the cup. So very, very cool. And also have the Sentinel regular Peter B. Parker. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, but going over still articulation with him. So at the torso, kind of just hula hoops around, but you can crunch forward about that far, go back about that far, side to side. Bit of rotation, more so at the waist there, but that's just a solid piece there. That's not a ball. So it's still kind of just hula hoops. At the top, at the legs, you do have a thigh cut that comes in that far, goes out about that far. Can I kick out to the side that much? Kick forward. Kick back. Not too bad. I don't even know if I even did this for Mona Lisa. I think I just went for the knee. Ooh, which might be stuck. I don't want to break this. There is a lot of paint. There we go. There's our double jointed knee. Actually, not too bad. I don't even know if we even get a upper thigh swivel, like a boot cut. I don't know if there is one there. If it is, very much stuck. It looks like that there's a gap in there, but it may not just move because they're like, well, you got the top piece, so you'll kind of just know because it's kind of gonna face that way. But it's also kind of weird. But then at the actual shoe, hinge back about that far, hinge forward about that far, and then have that ankle rock or pivot that actually works. Very nice, very solid, helps a lot. Because even like in this awful pose, he can still stand perfectly fine. He is a balanced man. He does feel pretty solid. He is a unit. He is made to to hunt down mutants. But kind of like to get like that gap, his feet kind of have to be like that way, but then has to be like that where it's kind of gappy at the thighs. So I'll have to see what I can do and what's really going on with these, just in case I'm missing something. But looks great. Overall, fun little dude. Fun figure. We'll give him his trigger finger hands. Ooh. We'll put this piece back on with him so you have the hole that is actually embedded into the body that goes through the piece here there, and then you have the key that goes in there, and kind of just want to adjust so it just slides right in. There we go. But Luke asks, have you made any custom figures? I have not. I've done little mods here and there, like just heads, but I've not made a figure. I've not like gone down to like paint something or really make something from other parts and like totally change it. Like I do have some custom figures, but I don't actually do customs. But yeah. I just don't, well, where do I even have, yeah, my custom figures? Most of my stuff is kind of all, kind of like just from the main companies now. What's that? What is in my collection, like technically a custom? Yeah, I'll have to look through. I mean, there is I do have a custom head sculpt on my, the, what is it? The Star Wars. It's Luke Skywalker. It's the, is it? Oh yeah, it's the Force Awakens version. So where he's in like the white garb, but I got a custom figure for it. Well, I won a custom head for it, and it looks pretty decent. So not too bad. So that's at least an example, I'll say. All right, but we'll give him his gun. See if Dirk can actually hold this thing. He does seem to have a pretty wide grip. A little bit. Thankfully so. We can even pry the hand, I think, a little bit more. Better once we get it going. All right. All right, Dirk. Get your things working. Okay, I am not going to push that because feels like that is going to be breaking. I would rather not do that, so we are going to leave that alone. Nope, we are going to leave that alone, as I just said. Then I can put this piece. And then we'll put his little, I guess, little electro kind of thing. I assume like a little shocker, but there he is. Dirk Savage. Kind of like, yeah, I'm not leaving without taking this turtle with me or something. So then we can do, yeah, because where he has his little traps here, and they can probably actually start our comparisons just to get into it. But there's his little pistol here too. I kind of wish he had a place to put it, but I guess if you want to put it somewhere, I guess you could put it in the back holster, but you know, it's not made for it, but it's probably not accurate, but it sits in there okay. Just gives them more storage options. Then have his little other gadgets. Here is separate hands. I think I'm okay with what I got going on right now. I'm not going to worry about it too much with this guy. So then I guess we can really just already start my comparisons. So, yeah. Cool setup we got going on. Keep some accessories out to just compare, but I think mainly, I think Dirk Savage is really going to keep out like these two just for quick comparisons. And then we'll do just more standard without accessories. Or comparisons with the other accessories, if I even remember to do that. All right. How do I want to do this? All right. So yeah, but a very nice set. Two unique characters who look great, who translate very well into figure form. A character I'm not really familiar with Dirk Savage, but I think he feels good. He looks good. Kind of impressed me a bit. And love his weird little gadgets. Sorry, I hit myself on my table. That actually sucked, bro. All right. But a pretty good little accessories and devices are very nice to see. And then with Mona Lisa, she's all right. She's not the greatest. Has a lot of good kind of like lab stuff, accessories. Kind of gives her a theme. I feel like she's just a scientist who like somehow became this weird lizard woman mutant thing, or unless it was like a lizard in a lab, and then just like, oh, I can do a lab stuff because I've been watching my dude or lady doing lab stuff. And then somehow her and Raph want to get together. I don't know what the plot is, but pretty cool. She probably has like more kind of like potential like to get better as I mess with her. But for right now, I think Dirk Savage is probably the best one, even with all of his his limitations, especially with the arms and with the feet. Oh, yeah, well, pretty cool characters. But we'll get on to my comparisons with the rest of the wave. Oh, well, with the rest of the figures. In this line, so much so, I'm gonna move my chair back so I can actually perceive this. What do I want to do first? Okay. First, we're gonna do okay. I'm gonna try get Leonardo. I'm gonna try something. Hopefully it actually works. Donatello. Raphael. Oh. And Michelangelo. Look at these guys. They look pretty good. They all look pretty great together. Of course, had to have Raph and Mona Lisa together, and then I think it was it Donatello that he got? He got one of the turtles. At least once. I can't remember who he got. I don't think it was Michelangelo. I don't think it was Leo. Might have been Raph again, but I don't know. He doesn't seem like that type to really be hunted, I guess. Oh, but thank you to the people for the 3 likes so far on the stream. I appreciate the support. How far are we in now? It is now 10:08. It has been 2 hours. We are making good time, y'all. Let's move on. Great turtles. These are the disguised turtles. But, I gave Donnie actually this little tool here and then have an extra effect piece on there. One of my favorite little kind of mishmash pieces that work. Raph is great. Mikey's good. He's got the pizza, bro. Pizza. And then it's still Raph. Raph's there. Raph's cool. All right. Next, I'm going to do comparison with Splinter. Probably now we're just going to do 2 at a time. Oh, I could have done... Hold on. Let's go back. Let's do my thing. Okay. Who am I going to use? Okay. I'll use Leo for this example. I can probably easily... Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. He's like, oh, what's this? I guess it's kind of like a foot thing. Or he's like, whoa. He's like, oh, what's going on? He's like, ow, that hurts. He's like, hey, what do you throw at me? He's like, ah. It's like, oh, this sucks. I'll put that to the side. Oh. And then we'll have Leo also put on these. The cuffs that you kind of can. Oh, well, hold on. Gotta put them on right. Oh, yeah, a big part of that. On the turtles, it doesn't look the greatest. Kind of big, these little gauntlet pieces. Maybe I can do another character. Someone who's a bit more meatier, or just might work better. I guess I'll go with the, which one is it? I'll go with, I think this is Genghis. Unless this one is not it. I can't remember. Which of the frogs is which? Half the time. There we go. Kind of the thing there, but it's pretty good. I like the frog look. Works very well for this, so kind of a bit of a spoiler for later, but there's those cuffs that work on a figure. Alrighty, next, as we saw before, we got Shredder, a Splinter, excuse me. Man, his cane doesn't really fit this hand that well. I feel like I need a better hand, but I haven't been able to really look through one. I can't remember what my other ones are. I feel like if I did have one, I would use it, but I feel like I don't. Another Splinter. Dirk and Mona Lisa. Man. Splinter, you're being a pain in the ass right now. Alright. Then, next we got the Mirage Toys Fugitoid, who is probably one of my favorite TMNT figures ever. This thing looks so freaking good. The cell shading just works so well for this character, and the colors are amazing. I love this figure. One of my favorite turtle figures of all time. The Fugitoid. All right. Next. Excuse me. Trying to cover up that. Hold on. All right. So then we have April O'Neil. There. Sorry if this is kind of annoying. They are a bit dusty. Kind of embarrassed. I didn't even really think to look at them. See, I've been that busy. But there they are. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty sweet. The April's pretty good. But this Casey is great. Kind of cool to see two kind of bruiser, big bruiser guys, though. Your opposite kind of spectrums. One is an actual street guy that is friends with the turtles. Then one has a lot of crazy weapons and is still also a street guy, but also is a specific mutant hunter. Oh. Then, speaking of mutants, we'll be getting into the majority of those now. And then we'll kind of go back with humans, a little bit of mutants, humans, and then end on our third category of other creatures and other characters that showed up in the show that aren't human or mutant. Maybe some beep boops, possibly. All right, so first we got the man, Mondo Gecko. Yeah, specifically this is the cartoon version, ultimate. Hope I got him kind of alright, but I have him with his little turtle dude. He's from like space or something. And then have the Archie comics. Adventures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got Man Ray, or as in some other cases, Ray Fillet and Fish Sticks. But they look pretty good. I think Ray Fillet, is a little bit more defined, a little bit more specific, but he looks pretty good with this all line up. So pretty cool. All right, the next so, of course, one of the frogs we saw before. I think this one is Genghis Frog. And then this one is, well, maybe this one is Genghis Frog. Because that's what I kind of think of when I think of Genghis Frog. I can't remember. Or maybe this is Genghis. I can't remember what the other ones are right now. I keep forgetting. What's the other ones? I think a Bonaparte, whatever. I can't remember what the other punk frog names are. If y'all can drop it in the comments for me, be appreciated. Oh, you can't even see the other frog. What am I talking about? This dude. There he is. Jesus Christ. Look at your camera, Justin. But there they are. He's kind of all worried, but he's ready to fight. And that other dude is just like, peace, man. Peace, dude. And then we got our other punk frogs. Oh, I think one is like Rasputin. Maybe that other one is Rasputin. Okay, this one, he needs some WD-40 or something. Let me get her. My dude is always ready to fall over, but there he is. Yeah, he's kind of the one I keep forgetting about. He should usually have a stand because he can barely even like stand right now. And then we have the last punk frog. So there they are, kind of all doing the same thing too, where these guys can't really stand for some reason. And even then, the other ones can't really do it either, so kind of weird, but there they all are. Looking like punk frogs. And because they actually do encounter the man. Dirk Savage. Get your feet in check. Why is only like one that's like solid? The rest are all... Ooh. Well, maybe they were out a bit more. I can't remember. I need to just get stands for those guys because I just don't want to risk it now. All right, but then coming back around to more of my human characters. First, we got, I think his name is Bernie. April's boss. Then we have Irma. Then I got Vernon. Okay, there we go. And then last one for this, we'll do all right. So then we have Office. Casey Jones. Over there. You know, he kind of scales up. He's still kind of bigger, but a little more casual. And and I just like having him just carrying that stack of papers. So what he's doing, he's got the whole gear, but yeah, they're like, well, you need a job, don't you? To get all that stuff. And he's like, I guess so. Or it was like a job like for like the foot or something, whatever it was. I can't remember. But not bad. Not bad at all. A good. Yeah, this is basically like the main, like the Channel 6 kind of crew right here, which is want to have like an actual, like a setup would be nice. An actual set I gotta do one day. Well, I did take a picture. I need to upload that picture at some point. I need to get this shit done. I need to get that video done. So I have an excuse to post that. I can be like, oh, here's this. Oh yeah, here's also this and this. Go check that shit out. Because I need a plug constantly. Even though I don't. Oh. Luke said they were fun to make. That was how long ago? That was like in half hour ago. What the heck? All right. All right, so now getting on to our villains. First, we got the Shredder, the new Ultimate cartoon version. Honestly, I didn't realize he was this freaking tall, bro. He is ginormous. And you got Krang in here. These guys are big enough, I think, just by themselves. They take up enough space. Get them like that. All right. All right. Probably a couple of my favorite ever kind of also NECA turtle figures. The Bebop and Rocksteady. Specifically Rocksteady with the helmet on here. If I can make it see it. Yeah. Pretty cool. Get more. There we go. That feels a little bit more balanced out. Yeah, but they look pretty good. Then next up, yeah, one of my other favorites, we have the Archie Slash. Baxter Stockman from the cartoon line. Good, different mutants, different weapons, different kind of bad guys. And next up we'll do a couple androids, or just robots in some cases. And then also to get a more kind of, I guess, more humanoid, kind of most bare bones baseline with the NECA cartoon. Foot Ninja Ultimate, or is it the Foot Soldier? I think it's the Foot Soldier. And then the Krang in his android body, which is massive. Which is massively huge. Just on its own. Yeah, but I think those look pretty good together. That's crazy how huge this thing is. Always gets me. And yeah, and then these foot soldiers are still pretty good. Work well. And end off with more mutants and just more your standard villains. Okay, so first we got Leatherhead here, as he did actually make the thumbnail because he felt like the most like mutant, classic mutant dude really going on at the moment. And then we have the Mutagen Man from the, from the Super 7 line that's based off of the original Playmates toys. There he is. Nice. I mean, yeah, that looks pretty sick. At least for my standards. And then our last two figures that we'll be looking at gonna be I think it makes more sense doing okay, we'll do this. We shall do this thing. Staying on. We got hold on. Have the Rat King and the Triceraton kind of leader. Their king or something, whatever it is. He's got the horns that are covered up because he's a regal fighter. I kind of see him as, I think, or like royalty. So yeah, cool kind of setup. Awesome set of figures. Really, really cool. Alrighty then. That'll do us for the night. I will bring out all the figures that we kind of looked at before. I'm going to try to get these guys better centered. It's probably going to be better if I do it like this. Anyways. All right. First, we're gonna get Raph in there. I think we'll just do like how we just did. Get all my turtles in here first. There we go. There's our 4 turtles, and we'll get as much as in here as we can, really. It just makes sense. We gotta get Splinter in here. I think we gotta get Fugitoid and April and Casey. Then we'll try to get at least 2 frogs. Maybe a few humans. And something else. Not sure. How about Splinter over here? Not too shabby. There's April. April and Casey. I'm at least gonna get these two guys. Two of the frogs. Well, do I wanna? Yeah. All right, that's fine. Man. Splinter, you get no cane. All right. I don't get how these legs always want to bow out. Just doesn't make any sense to me. How these can be so bad. Okay. As long as they just stay, I'm like, I don't care now. All right, we're gonna get Man Ray over here. Get Mondo Gecko. I can do. What can I do? I kind of want to give him a little bit of a platform to show off, unless I move Mikey's bandana. I mean, that's still a pretty prominent spot. All right, then my front part, well, my middle part, gonna be Shredder, of course. That just makes sense. He's the main villain. I'll be back there. Now he's ganged up by all his mutants that he's created. Be careful now. Okay. That's not too bad. That's a bit more balanced. All right. I'll try for slash and for Stockman. I guess I want to do slash. Well, probably want to do him more here. Even if he'll be seen. I'm just kind of guessing. He shows up. Less wind in all the air. Also, I can probably just tilt his head up more. Yeah, look at that. Then Baxter, he's not just really going to be seen. He's just going to fill a void. Yeah, because he's smaller than the frog. Who can I use? Oh, I could do this a foot soldier. It's very, very simple. And also very skinny, so it can actually fit this little tight space. He does not want to stand at the moment either. There we go. Then for all of our big guys, look at that. We have mutagen man. And then we'll just get Leatherhead in there and call it good. Oh, we could do, hold on. And there we go. The rest, I'm going to keep off for now. I think this is a good enough setup now, so. But yeah. Nearly like well, basically almost 3 hours on this live stream. I would say this has been a very successful live stream. To all the people who have been joining, people who have been chatting, hanging, the people who have liked this already, the 3 people, I appreciate it. I'll be honest. And see who my top fans are. It is Luke Nicholas, who is number 1, has 75 XP, and Killer Goop has 25 XP. Killer Goop and Luke. But yeah. So, Dirk Savage and Mona Lisa. Nice additions to the Turtle collection. Characters I'm not too familiar of myself, but I think that they do look great and work very well. Of course, like Mona Lisa with Raph, and then Dirk Savage, who comes with all like the catching tools and everything for all the mutants. Of course, he was more so going like for Token Razor. He didn't like Ben. He did use also this one, but this is a separate one that I think also goes on the ground. I thought it went onto the heads of the frogs, but apparently it goes to the feet, which I did not know about at that point. But that kind of makes more sense. I need to be careful. Jesus. All right. Lisa, do not move. Do not fall. But example, I'm not going to put it on the ground because you won't be able to see it, but there it is. We're going to try not to touch this table at all. But leave a like. Subscribe to the channel. Be sure to comment what you want to see here. I appreciate all the support. I'm trying to see what other accessories I need to compare this with. I don't think there's any other main ones. I think there is like one. I think there's like some kind of like gauntlet that goes with Dirk Savage. I think there is. I'll have to. Let's see what I got. There it is. You do have this. So this is apparently another device that Dirk Savage uses, and this is one that comes with the Mondo Gecko. So he's like wearing it. Yeah. And so with that, I guess if you want to, I'll try it on Genghis again. I think this is Genghis, not Napoleon. Well, maybe. I don't know. So there he is wearing that. He's like, oh no, I'm caught by Dirk Savage. I keep forgetting his last name. Dirk Savage. It's like Randy Savage. Oh yeah. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh yeah. My boy Dirk and I gonna go get some toilet. Alright, I'm trying to get this thing off of the frog now. Give it up. Thank you. Alright. But I think we are going to sign off here, so thank y'all who are here joining. And we are live here on this Friday night. Hope everyone's week, whatever's going on, your day, your weekend has been well. It will continue to be. So yeah. Stream next Friday. Probably going to be earlier in the day because I know I work that weekend. So see what we do there. Probably nothing really of this scale. Maybe. I mean, I guess it just depends. But yeah. So next week, probably going to be a little bit earlier, maybe around 5 or 6. Maybe 6:30 at the latest. So yeah, but y'all will see that on Friday. So be sure to check out the Instagram for updates on this stream and then for pictures and behind the scenes videos. So yeah, thank y'all for joining me. Be cool, do good, do your best, have fun, enjoy the good things, and I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.